everyone, today we are going to be learning Unit 13 and it is going to be past continuous. So let's take a look over here. First we have, it is 6 o'clock now. Paul is at home. He is watching TV. So can you remember this? This is what we learned a few units back, and this is actually present continuous. So remember that continuous is anything with ing. So past continuous simply means if it's an is, you change it to was, which is a past tense. And if it's are, you change it to were, which is the past tense of are. So that's basically what past continuous is. So let's take a look over here. At 4 o'clock, he wasn't at home. He was at the sports club. He was swimming in the pool. He wasn't watching TV. So these two sentences, was swimming, wasn't watching, these two sentences are past continuous because it has the past tense, which is was, wasn't, and it also has the verb with the ing, swimming, and watching. Okay, so this makes it past continuous. So if you take a look at this timeline over here, you can see 3:30 he started swimming, 4 o'clock he was swimming, and 4:15 he finished swimming. So basically past continuous is was or were plus ing. Now you can take a look at these three different ways of using this. So first we have the positive, which is I, he, she, it, you will use was. We, you, and they, you will use were. And then you just have the verb with the ing. Okay, this is for the positive. And now for the negative, it's simply I, he, she, it would be was not. We, you, they will be were not. So it will be wasn't and weren't. And then you have the verbs with the ing. And that will be negative. And lastly, for questions, same thing as how you would form questions when you're talking about the present tense. The was and were will be in front. So for he, she, and it will be was, the subject of the matter, and then the verb with the ing. And for we, you, and they, it will be were, followed by the subject, followed by the verb with the ing. Okay, so this is the same as what you've learned before, and you just simply change the is or are to was or were, and the verb with the ing stays the same. Now let's take a look at all these examples over here, and we're going to just read through these different examples. What were you doing at 11:30 yesterday? Were you working? What did he say? I don't know. I wasn't listening. It was raining, so we didn't go out. In 2009, we were living in Canada. Today, she's wearing a skirt, but yesterday, she was wearing trousers. I woke up early yesterday. It was a beautiful morning. The sun was shining and the birds were singing. Alright, so let's take a look at these spelling over here. This one, you just have to be familiar with it, but I'm sure that you are at least familiar with some of these spellings. So live will be living, run will be running, double N, lie, ending with IE, it will be lying, so lying. Okay, so this one you have to be familiar. So just take a look at all these spellings. Every time you have a mistake or you spell something wrongly, just take note and remember why and where you went wrong, and then the next time try not to repeat the same mistakes. Now let's look at part C. So am is are plus ing, it will be the present continuous. So basically change that to was and were with ing, and you get past continuous. So I'm working. Past continuous would be I was working at 10:30 last night. It isn't raining. It wasn't raining when we went out. What are you doing? What were you doing at 3 o'clock? Okay, so by simply changing am, is, and are to was and were, you can change from present continuous to past continuous. Now let's take a look at Unit 14, and in this unit we're going to learn about past continuous and past simple. So past simple, it is what you learned in Unit 11, and basically they're just combining Unit 11 with Unit 13. So it might sound a bit confusing, but it's everything that you have learned before. So look over here, we have Jack was reading a book. His phone rang. He stopped reading. He answered his phone. By taking a look at these 4 sentences over here, can you tell which is past continuous and which is past simple? First sentence over here, we have Jack was reading. So what would this be? This would be past continuous. His phone rang. Ring would be the present tense. Rang would be the irregular verb, the past tense of ring. His phone rang. So is this past continuous or past simple? This would be past simple. He stopped reading. So is this going to be past continuous or past simple? This will be also past simple. Okay, so the trick here, for example, if the sentence was he was reading or he wasn't reading, it would be past continuous. But in this sentence, the key word is stopped. So stopped is the action that we're looking at. He stopped reading. So even though reading has ing, this is not a past continuous. This is a past simple because of the verb stopped. Okay, because this is a regular verb, but in a past simple, written in a past simple way. So this sentence is past simple. He answered his phone. So this is also past simple, but this is more obvious because there's only one past tense over here. He answered his phone. So you can tell that it is past simple. This one is a bit tricky. Okay, the key thing is not the reading, it is stopped. He stopped reading. So it makes it past simple. Now let's take a look at the examples at the bottom over here. It's already what I've explained. So what happened? His phone rang. Alright, this is past simple. What was Jack doing when his phone rang? He was reading a book. So was reading, past continuous. And look at the question. The question is also asking was doing. So this is also a past continuous question. What did he do when his phone rang? So the question has did and do, and the answer has he stopped reading and answered his phone. So stopped, answered. So these are all past simple. Alright. Jack began reading before his phone rang. So when his phone rang, he was reading. Okay, so if you take a look at this timeline, I guess you can understand it a bit better. It's not really necessary. So first he started reading, and then he was reading the whole way, and then his phone rang. So he stopped reading, and then he answered his phone. So that is the timeline, and that's basically what we're talking about over here. Okay, using past continuous and past simple. So let's look at chapter B. So we have past simple. A, what did you do yesterday morning? So is this question past continuous or past simple? This question, it is asked in past simple. What did you do yesterday morning? So when you answer, you also answer in past simple. We played tennis. Okay. So take a look over here. We have Jack read a book yesterday. Did you watch the game on TV last night? It didn't rain while we were on holiday. Now let's look at past continuous. A asks, what were you doing at 10:30? So were, doing makes it past continuous. So when you answer, you also answer in past continuous. We were playing tennis. And in these examples, Jack was reading a book when his phone rang. Were you watching TV when I phoned you? It wasn't raining when I got up. And over here, I started work at 9 o'clock and finished at 4:30. At 2:30, I was working. It was raining when we went out. I saw Lucy and Steve this morning. They were waiting at the bus stop. Kelly fell asleep while she was reading. So if you were to take a look at these sentences over here, let's just take a look at the last sentence. Alright, this is basically two sentences put together. The first thing that you want to talk about is Kelly fell asleep. That itself is a sentence. Kelly fell asleep. This would be a past simple sentence. While she was reading. Was reading would be a past continuous. So when you put the two together, you have Kelly fell asleep while she was reading. Okay? And it tells you what she was doing when she fell asleep. Alright, so all these examples over here are basically just sort of joining two different information or two different sentences together. One it is past simple and one is past continuous. You join them together to make a full sentence, and you can join them together to also give more detail to the listener. Okay, so that would be it for these two chapters this week, and you can continue to do the practices on your own. Alright, and I will see you guys next week for the next two chapters.